Hi, I'm Kelly with Ironback Solutions. Imagine the phone rings and it's a debt collector. What you do in the next 5 minutes is going to either protect you or hand them everything they need to win. I'm going to walk you through 5 things to stop doing immediately. Some of these things you may have already done, and that's okay. Knowing the rules now changes what happens next. When a collector calls, the first thing they want for you to say is yes. Yes, this is me. Yes, this is my account. This is my debt. I remember the card. And every yes you give is evidence for them. It can be logged in their notes, used in court, and treated as an admission of guilt. Every polite, yeah, that was a while ago, becomes a problem later. What you need to say instead is, I don't acknowledge this debt. Please put everything in writing and send it to my mailing address. That's it. You are not being rude. You are being precise. You haven't denied anything and you haven't admitted anything. You've moved the conversation off the phone and onto paper, where you have a record and they have a burden. Now, the next thing you need to do is stop agreeing to payment plans over the phone. Collectors are trained to get a commitment, even a small one. Can you do $50 as a good faith gesture? That $50 is not a good faith gesture. And in many cases, even a small payment or even a written promise to pay can restart the statute of limitations on a debt that was already too old to sue on, that you don't know if this person or this entity even has a right to collect on. You can take a debt that was legally dead and bring it back to life on one phone call. It can also be used as an admission that you owe the debt and that you accept the balance that they're claiming, even if it's not correct. And both of these help them, not you. If you want to resolve a debt, do it in writing on terms by someone who understands the consequences, not on a recorded call with someone whose job is to close you. And then stop giving your bank account information. This one is so critical. Never give a debt collector your checking account information, your routing number, your debit card, or authorization to draft your account, even for a one-time payment, even if they say it's a way to settle. I've done this before, and they authorized to take money out of my account before I agreed to pay. So once they have access to that bank account, and also if they ever get a default judgment against you, they have free reign on your bank account. So once they have your bank account information, they also have leverage against you. And like I said, in my case, they ran unauthorized charges or run them on the wrong date, like my case. Then trying to get that money back is a fight because you gave the information and they're going to say that you gave them permission. If you're going to pay anything, first get it in writing, get an accounting, check the statute of limitations, and if you do decide to pay by cashier's check or money order. No other method should be used. You want to have a written agreement with the settlement terms spelled out before any money goes to them, no exceptions. And again, don't admit that you owe the debt until you really have confirmation in writing that it's validated, that they have the right to collect, and do not admit the balance before that point. Once you confirm the debt and say, yes, that's mine, yes, the number's correct, those are two separate problems, and most people make that mistake in the same sentence. So here's why the balance matters. Debt buyers often can't prove how they got the number they're suing for. Interest fees, charge-off additions, none of it's documented. If you get on the phone and say, I know I owe about $8,000, you've done their job for them. You've given them a number that they don't have to prove in court. The same rule applies here. Say, I don't acknowledge the debt or any balance. That's my recommendation. Send everything in writing. Make them prove the number and don't ever volunteer anything. Next is ignoring your mail. I know when you are stressed about bills and debt piling up, there's times where it's scary to open those bills, open those letters, but facing it head on and then realizing that a lot of times the numbers don't match, the debt is not validated, that's going to give you a whole new level of freedom. But as soon as you're not opening your mail and not looking at these statements, the sooner they're going to try to get a default judgment on you. So you don't want to talk to them on the phone, but you also don't want to ignore them. So here's the difference. Phone calls are designated to pressure you, to get you emotional, and not have anything recorded on your end. They're recording, but you may not be recording. If you ask for everything via the mail and you check your mail, you know it's documented, dated, and on your timeline. When something comes in the mail, open it, read it, save it, especially anything that looks like a court summons, complaint, notice of hearing, or if the sheriff shows up with a process serve. If you ignore the lawsuit, the debt collector is going to win by default, and this is how 90% of cases are won. Not because the collector has a strong case, but because the defendant doesn't show up. So every letter, every envelope, keep it, put it in a folder, write the date, and then start responding or reach out and get help from someone like me. We're going to go through these files at intake, and we're going to look at every single number and make sure that they can prove standing and prove the accounting in these letters that you receive. So to recap, don't confirm the debt, don't agree to payment plans, don't give them your bank account information, and definitely don't admit the balance. Finally, don't ignore your mail. You will notice a pattern. 4 of these 5 rules are about the phone. That's not an accident. The phone is the collector's territory. The paper is yours. Move the conversation to paper as soon as possible, and the dynamic changes. Now, none of this means that you're trying to dodge a legitimate documented debt. It means you're making sure that if money is going to change hands, it's going to be on the terms that are fair, documented, and verified, and that's your right. If you're already in a situation where collectors are calling, letters are stacking up, or you've been served, try the link below, give us a call, and we will set up an intake or consultation. We have our Consumer Defense Lab, where we have many different educational opportunities so that you can learn to gain freedom for yourself from debt. And remember, I'm a faculty at the Consumer Debt Lab. I'm not an attorney, and this is educational information, not legal advice. So we'll see you next time.